Hey everybody, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Y'all, this is a fun video because today you're gonna hang out with me in the garden. I got some new things to show you because you know I love a new tool, I love a new toy, I love a new, just new. I love it. And so definitely stay tuned so you can see some of the new stuff. But we got some more stuff to plant. We got a couple of things to harvest. It's gonna be just a standard regular day in the garden, of course, with some good times. So if you're brand new here, thank you for stopping by. You just landed on a Gardener's Journey Homestead where I talk about my journey as a gardener and a homesteader for the very first time. I literally just put my hands in dirt. It's been 5 years ago, but before that, my hands had not been in dirt because I was a corporate executive, moved to the country, and all of a sudden I fell in love with gardening. So that's what you're gonna see on this channel. So if you are new, please say hello in the comments. Let me know what city, state, or country you're coming in from so I can say hello back to you. And for those who are my faithful followers, thank you so much. It is so good to see you in this video. I look forward to your comments, your questions, and I just love interacting with you guys. This is one of the highlights of my day. Now, every time I don't feel like turning on the camera, but 99.1% of the time, I feel like turning on the camera. And so today is one of those days. It's a beautiful day in Tennessee. It's 80 degrees. And so with this weather, you really can't be inside. It's time to go outside. I have been in meetings all day long. I could not wait for my last meeting to end because I wanted to make sure I got some of the sunshine before it got dark. And so here we are. So y'all, I'm in the back of my house, and let me just give you an update. On my last video, I talked about how I got stung, bit, or something on my hand. Random freak accident. Thank you guys so much for your prayers. Thank you for your comments. I read every one of them. I really appreciate it. I don't take it for granted that you would just stop and send me a comment or stop and say a prayer for me. So thank you very much. I am doing better. I would say I'm at least 70%. My hand has definitely gone down. It's just the itching is ever present. It is ever present. But the swelling, when I woke up this morning, the swelling had gone down, I would say about 90%. It's still tight some, but we are making progress. We are getting better. So that's all we can ask for. But you better believe today, I don't want to, but I'm going to wear some gloves. Y'all, the gloves are just so clunky, not clunky because I have some that are thin, but it just does not feel like your natural hand. So my husband was telling me I need to get some like natural gloves. And I'm like, y'all know what I think about that. Y'all know what I think about that. I don't even have to tell you. Because first of all, they're not cute. Second of all, that don't even seem like that's garden wear. But you know what? I'm going to zip it. Do what I need to do so that doesn't happen again. Because when I tell you it has taken 48 hours out of my life, it has taken 48 hours out of my life. But that's okay. I'm looking for my gloves right now. The ones that I want. Let me go grab the gloves I want. And, well, let me show you the first new thing that we are talking about today. Let me show you my brand new potting bench from Vego Garden. Okay, y'all. This is my new potting bench from Vego Garden. And, of course, I love her, okay? I love her. Oh my goodness. So, this is not your standard tied old wooden potting bench. This thing right here, first of all, she's aesthetically pleasing. She is beautiful, and y'all know I love cute stuff, okay? And so this does the job. Y'all, now you know I am an affiliate for Vego Garden. So, let me just preface that by saying that up front. However, I'm not biased because I was buying Vego Garden long before I became an affiliate. I 100% stand by their products. The quality is unmatched. The attention to detail, unmatched, okay? If you have any Vego Garden piece at your house, outside, inside, grow station, whatever it is, I guarantee you are probably happy and pleased with it because the attention to detail that they put into their products and the quality is by far top notch. So let me tell you about this Vego Garden potting bench that I have and all the features and the reasons why I love it. So my husband was kind enough to put this together for me because, again, not my skill set. But one of the things that I love about Vego Garden, not just this product, but most of the products that they do, but particularly this one, this right here is all metal. So it's outdoor ready. It's going to withstand the elements outdoors versus a wooden potting bench.
it can hold up to 265 pounds. So it's heavy duty, it's stable, and it's going to be able to do that without bending, wobbling, and all of that. So it's going to hold up to gardening for real. The other thing is I like the fact that it is modular and expansive. So I'll talk a little bit later about how you can actually add a second potting station to it, and they can kind of hook together and make one continuous piece. And then because it's metal and stainless steel, it's going to be easy for me to clean and to keep clean versus with wood, you know, it's going to tarnish, it's going to, you know, may rust and all of those things. So that's some of the features of this. And again, it just looks beautiful. Also, the space that I have on the potting bench portion is about 25% more than you would find on a traditional potting bench. So that's really, really good.
Okay, and I'll bring you up close too so you can see some of the features. But they have a couple of different options. And so what I got was the potting bench. They also have one that's called like a workstation, I call, that has like a sink and stuff to it. I did not get that one. I got the potting bench with the open shelving, and it has one cabinet. They also do have where this is closed in if you don't want open shelving, but I wanted a little piece of both. First of all, you have these different hooks up here that you can hang your tools. I had another tool right here, but my husband got it. But I'm gonna put this up here with all of my tools. And so then I have a nice work surface. So when I'm starting seeds or up potting a plant, whether it's a house plant for my house or whatever it is, I can do it on this sturdy workstation. Now where we have it right here is beside my green stalks. And so my husband, the ground is not level, so we'll get a couple of pavers to like lift it up on one side. But it's still functional right now. But overall, we'll just lift it up so that it's completely even and stable. This right here, y'all. So this is like the potting station. So you can dump your soil in here and have your soil in here and then be doing your stuff right here. I like the fact that it has a cover. So therefore, if it rains, you don't have to worry about your stuff getting wet. But then also, check this out. While I'm up potting stuff or using the thing, this hangs up here like so, like that. Y'all, I love that. It's the attention to detail for me, okay? The fact that you're gonna give me a place to put it, so I don't wanna put it here because it's gonna take up some of my space. I don't wanna put it down here. The fact that I can just hang it up here is 100% awesome, okay? And then it can come off. And let me bring you closer so you can see how deep this is. So you can see kind of how deep this is. Let me see if I can pull it up. It just lifts up. You can kind of see how deep that basin is. So it'll hold quite a bit of soil. Right now I have my onions in here. I put them in here so that they wouldn't fly off on my table because we're about to plant some of these. And then I just covered it so that way nothing can get in there. So you have all this. You have the hooks up there to put your stuff. So I like that piece. You can also hang other stuff up there if you wanted to. And then also you have the open shelving down here. So you can put your trays, your pots, all your stuff. So you have that one long table there or space. And then you have this one. And then I also got the one with the cabinet. So in here's where I have some of my fertilizer and some cups and pots as well. It also came with a pack of these. These are like extenders. And so let's say I wanted the one with the workstation and I wanted to make one big long continuous surface. It gave me these to attach it to another one of their potting benches. So in that case, if I wanted two together, I could do that very easily and they'll kind of hook together, which again, the attention to detail is wonderful. Another reason why I like this is because it's not wooden, because of course, you know that wood is going to deteriorate over time, especially when it's outside in the elements, right? And most of the wooden benches that I've found, the surface is not that big to work on. And again, it just is not going to last. This is going to last for years and years and years because of the quality of the material that it's made of, the non-rustless, all the things. It is by far a winner. So my husband was the one that put it together because he puts together all my stuff. That's not my ministry. That's his ministry. And so he put it together. And once again, he always says they give the most clear instructions. It's always easy to install. They give you the pictures. They give you everything that you need. And it's very easy to follow. Like I might even be able to do it. But why are we going to test that? We don't need to test that. That's not my ministry. I grow food, okay? I grow food. So that is really cool. So not only did I get the Vego potting bench, I also got, and let me also tell you this, I do have a discount code for Vego Garden. It will be linked in the description box below. I have a general code that you can use every single time to get $10 off your order. But then I also have a code specifically for this as well. All of that will be in the description box. If you have a Vego Garden product, I want you to say something in the comments. Let me know what product you have and let me know how much you love it. But let me show you one other thing that I got from Vego Garden that I'm really excited about, and I can't wait to show you. So this is part of the outdoor living collection as well as the potting bench. This is the Patio bistro set. It comes with a table and 2 chairs. And if you notice, it matches the color of the potting bench. Now, I don't know that I'm going to keep it right here. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. But you know, I always talk about that you should have a space to sit in your garden. You want the garden to be a place of respite, a place where you can sit and enjoy the beauty and the work of your hands. You don't want it to always be you're in and out and you never take time to sit and appreciate the garden. The sun is moving around. I apologize about that. So I love this set. Again, it's very durable. The table is sturdy. It can fold. So that way, if you need to put it out of the way or make it smaller, so to speak, you can do that. And yeah, I think, let's say I wanted to sit out here and have me a cup of lemonade while I'm planting. This is a perfect way to do it. I decided to put it back here in my back garden because I don't really have a place to sit out here except the table and the chairs. But I love that this is much more cute and functional than sitting at an old white table. Don't you think, with all the soil on it? So I don't know. I may even put me some flowers right here. Maybe some fake flowers or maybe some real flowers. I don't know, maybe in a little pot or something. So if you guys have ideas about where I should put it, let me know. But I love this. Again, this is from Vego Garden, the Patio bistro set. Okay, so now let me put on my gloves because I know that some of y'all gonna be the glove police. If you don't see me with gloves on, you gonna have something to say. And I know it's out of love, so I'm not gonna talk bad about you. But let me put on these gloves so we don't have no mishaps today. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to plant some stuff out in a Greenstalk. Not many, but again, I'm always looking to conserve space because with the seed starting, it's overtaking my house. And so I thought, what are some things that can already go out that's going to be okay if the temperatures drop and all that. And so I'm going to plant out some thyme in my Greenstalk. I think I have 4 that I'm going to plant out. So let's go ahead and plant those out. And again, you can't feel nothing. Let's zip it. Okay, I'm going to zip it. Okay. So we had started planting this one out last week with our lettuce and spinach and all of that. You can see it's doing well, no issues there. And so we have 4 thyme that we can plant out. We have more thyme that's available. I figure I'll put some in the Greenstalk and we'll see how that goes. It should be just fine. This is the leaf planter. If you're unfamiliar with Greenstalk, let me just do a quick little blurb. It is a vertical gardening system. They come in colors, different shapes and sizes. I have a previous video that I'll link up here where I talked about the Greenstalk, where we planted this out and I showed you my new Greenstalk garden layout. It has a ton of information about Greenstalk. But also, if you ever want to get a Greenstalk, you can use my code LFF10 for $10 off your order. Okay? So y'all, this is the reason with gloves, like you can't feel nothing. And these gloves are pretty thin, but it's not the same. So we're gonna be safe and let's see if we can get our thyme in here. Great. So I'm gonna do them up top. They'll kind of cascade down. Thyme again is going to be okay in the weather. And right now the weather, like I said, it's nice. The lows may be like 50 or so. They'll be just fine. Even if we have another freeze, I think it'll be fine. But preferably we won't have another freeze. Preferably we won't. Oh, also, you'll see this in next week's video. So if you have not subscribed, this is a good time to do it. It's always a good time, but it's really a good time because I'm doing a giveaway starting Monday. So you definitely want to tune in to Monday's video because I will be giving away or starting the giveaway process for a Greenstalk. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Make sure you subscribe and tune in so that you can be in on it. So I thought I had 4. Oh, I got 2 more over here. This will give me more cups that I can use. It's going to give me some more space in my tray. There's 5 more things I can now fit in there that I wasn't able to fit in there before. And this right here is a mystery plant. I don't know what this is. I think it's oregano. So that's how I lost the label on it. So I'll let it keep growing. I'm going to put it out here and see what it does. One thing about it, it'll show who it is. It'll show who it is. As it keeps growing, it'll become clear. Kind of like people. They may look like they one thing, but when you get them in a crisis, the real character shows up. So let's get that in there. That's okay. So we got ForTime and our mystery plant. And so we have 2 more pockets on the top, and then we have about 7 pockets on the bottom, and then this one will be completely planted out. So yay us. Now, I didn't show you this last week, but this planter is the original. It has the bigger pockets, and I had already started putting some onions down there at the bottom. And so because we have a ton of onions, I think I'm going to plant the rest of this with onions, is what I'm going to do, since I already have some at the bottom, and they seem to be growing well. So let's do that. We'll plant out the rest of this with onions. So this will be a complete onion one. This will be herbs and stuff, and then we're still plotting out how the rest of these are going to fare. I know that the Snow White, I'm going to do flowers. Probably both 3 tiers I'll do with flowers, and then we'll see. We'll probably do green beans and peppers out and tomatoes out in the other 2. But let me grab the onions from the potting bench, and let's plant this up in the Greenstalk.
So I was inspired to plant onions in my Greenstalk based on the live Q&A I had with my VIP group. Somebody was in there talking about how they successfully planted onions in their Greenstalk, and I did try this last year, but it was kind of like not on purpose, and kind of like just a oh by the way. So I had onions left over that had been sitting there, and so I threw a few of them in the Greenstalk, and I used the leaf planter, which is the smaller pockets, and they bulbed up, but very, very little. So I wouldn't call it a success. But when they were in the VIP group talking about, oh no, I've done it before, I got inspired to try it again. And a few of us in there said, you know what, we're going to try it. So this is me trying it again, a little bit more on time and on purpose. So I'm using now the original Greenstalk, which has the deeper pockets, which is 10 inches high versus the leaf is 7 inches high. So that should give it more room to bulb up. And I'm only maybe 2 or 3 weeks behind when I've planted my other onions. So hopefully we're still in the sweet spot, and they will bulb up in the Greenstalk. So I cannot wait to see the progress. And so also, by the way, if you didn't know, I do have a VIP membership on YouTube, the one that I'm referencing, and the VIP membership is $4.99 a month. You can cancel at any time, but what you get with the membership is 1 hour with me every month, live Q&A. We have a group call, and in there we talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So if you need a little bit more guidance and support or hand holding when it comes to your gardening and homesteading journey, that is a perfect way to get it, I think, at a relatively low cost, because you have access to me not just for that hour live Q&A, but you can pop a question in our own private community group anytime, and I will answer it. Also, my VIP members get priority reply to comments. They also get 10% off anything on our website in the Living Foods Farm store, and a host of other benefits. And they also get videos early. So, and then they also get member only videos. So it's a great advantage if that's something that would be helpful for you. I would love to see you in the VIP group. So I just keep planting this up. Basically the whole Greenstalk is going to be onions. I had a couple of dill that I'd already put in there, and that's fine. But for the most part, it's going to be all onions, and I cannot wait to see how this turns out.
So now we're going to plant more onions in this bed. So I think you and I did this together. I'm pretty sure that we did. We had planted onions, but I had planted carrots right along here. But y'all, I forgot that I planted carrots. So they didn't get watered. Therefore, they didn't germinate. So we're not going to even worry about it. We're just going to plant onions. And the rest of this row is what we're going to do. And the whole bed will be onions. I completely forgot that I put carrots in here. That happens sometimes. So These will be a couple of weeks behind those. You can see that those are growing nicely. These will be a couple of weeks behind, but that's a-okay. I did a whole video on how to plant onions and my best tips, the do's and the don'ts. If you didn't see that, I will pop it up there at the top.
So in the video I'm talking about where I talked about onions, I went through kind of my best tips on how to have a successful onion harvest and mistakes that people generally make. I get all of my onion starts from Dixondale Farms. I've been using them for the last 4 years and have never had an issue. They always have performed very, very well. This year I did something different, and I just bought all the same kinds of onions. I only bought one variety, which is the candy onion, and I did it in the yellow candy and then in the red candy. So what I'm doing here in this bed are, I think it's all yellow candy onions, but you'll see later on in the video we're going to plant some red candy onions as well. So when it comes to planting onions, this is the time of year to do it. So I encourage you, if you've never done onions before, and if you have space, to definitely put that on your to-do list. As you can see, they don't take very long to grow, usually about 90 to 100 days.
Okay guys, I got the onions planted. So that whole Greenstalk is planted with the onions. We planted ForTime and a mystery plant. We planted the rest of this bed with onions. I do have another space in one of these raised beds to put more onions. It's with my garlic. I've never done onions and garlic before. I need to see if they're companions. But I'm gonna meet you down on the outside garden and the high tunnel, because we got some work to do down there. Oh, but let me show you a quick tour of how things are looking out here in the back of the house. Here are some plants that I just brought outside that were in the sunroom to water, some seedlings that I'm gonna let get some sun. But mainly I brought them out here to water because it's easier for me to just hose them down and water versus individual. So around this time of the year or season, I'll start bringing plants outside, and then at some point I'll just fill up this whole table when I'm not still starting seeds, and then just let them hang out in the sun. This is my way of hardening them off, but then also I will water them while I'm out here. So these are some of the seedlings we up potted last week. You can see they're doing good. There's peppers, tomatoes. There's some coleus. But let me show you how things are wrapping up in the raised bed. So this is the bed that we were just working on. We added those onions right there, but you can see that the onions that are 2 weeks ahead of them are doing well and have gotten bigger. So that's this bed. And then our garlic is doing fantastic. You can see that here. It's starting to definitely, it's greening up. It's above ground. It is definitely growing. We'll probably harvest our garlic in 2.5 months. I would say 8 to 10 weeks. Usually we're harvesting by the end of May, first week of June. And then here's another bed of garlic that we have. And then this is another bed of garlic. We only planted half of this bed because that was all the garlic that we had. So half of this bed is planted with garlic. We'll plant the other half with something else. And then this last bed here are onions that you and I planted together. So we have 2 beds of onions up here. Then we also have some onions down in the outside garden. But things are looking good out here. Okay guys, we're now in the outside garden and we have more beds to plant. So as you can see down here, this is kind of like my Vego Garden row. And so for those that are new, we have 3 main spaces that we grow in. The spot behind my house with the 5 raised beds, that's space number 1. We have a high tunnel right there, that's 30 by 96. We plant in there all year round. And then I'm standing in the outside garden, which is 4,000 square feet. We only plant in this space in the summer. And so over the last 5 years, I started with 4 raised beds behind my house. And then I expanded year after year after year to see what we have now. And so last year, or was it 2 years ago? 2 years ago, my husband's like, now I know you're gonna want some more space, because when we first built the outside garden, it was 2,000 square feet. It was 20 by 100. And then the following year, I'm like, hey, I need more space. So he doubled the space, and it's 40 by 100. So it's 4,000 square feet. But I knew I can go and ask him to take the fence down and do it some more. So what I did was I decided to utilize this space along the perimeter of the garden, and I've just been getting Vego Garden raised beds to fill up the space. I started with one bed, which is the blue one down there, which is actually from Vego. They sent me that as a gift, but I wasn't really feeling the blue. I really wanted it to be a uniform color. If I could, I would snap my fingers and make that one cream. But I started filling in with all of these Vego Garden raised beds. So let's take a walk down here. So Vego comes in all different shapes and sizes. I have a lot of Vego raised beds. I've talked about, if you're going to do a raised bed, especially if it's outside, I would definitely go with metal versus wood, because wood is going to deteriorate over time in like less than 5 years. I don't care. The highest quality wood, which is cedar, it's going to deteriorate in 5 years or less if you have it in the outside elements. There's no way around it. And so you get a better bang for your buck by getting a metal raised bed. Vego Garden, again, these are rated for 20 to 25 years. It's not going to rust. It's not going to fade. It's high quality. So this bed right here, right now, is full of weeds. But this right here is the 32-inch high. So it is waist high. We need to take these weeds out and then fill it up with more soil. This was soil that we had left over from last year's delivery. And so we need to add more soil to this, take these weeds out, and then we will plant this up. But it's waist high, as you can see, so you don't have to bend, and it is 42 inches round. So that's that one. It sits in the corner. And then this is the blue bed from Vego that they sent me. We already have that one planted with onions. I don't know if I showed you guys that, but that's planted with onions. They're growing nicely. And these are the rest of the Vego Garden beds. This one right here is a 2 by 10. So it's more narrow. My beds behind my house are 4 by 8. So that's a 2 by 10. This one right here in the middle is a 2 by 6. And then that one right there is a 2 by 8. And then this one here is a 2 by 10, I think, elevated garden bed in the ivory. This is my absolute favorite, because as I get older, I love the fact that I don't have to bend. It's waist high and I can just plant. And I also have another one that's in the back of my house that has to be moved down here, that is a 2 by 6 elevated. It's going to go right here in this space right here. So the idea is that we would just kind of create a row of raised beds all the way down. This allowed me to add more growing space without tearing up infrastructure, not removing the fence and moving it out. My husband having to till, plot more stuff, lay down more landscape paper. This allowed me a way to utilize space that was already here that wasn't being used. And I didn't want to plant right up into the fence and all of that good stuff. So that was a way for me to do that. And what I've been doing over the last 2 years is that I just get a bed when I can. That's the way I do it. And that's how I do a lot of things, right? So sometimes you don't have all the money to get everything that you want at one time, but you find a way, you know, whether you get one, like I've gotten, I want to say I got one the first year, 2 last year, and then I just bought one during the fall. So usually I'll buy one in the fall, because that's usually when my garden funds are not going out as much. In the summertime, I spend a lot of money, of course, on compost soil, just maintaining this space. But in the fall, the costs are less. I can usually splurge a little bit and get me something. And so that's what I did. So we'll have another one coming down here for that. And then I also have some other new Vego Garden beds that you guys have not seen. That'll be in an upcoming video. Cannot wait to show you that. So y'all, I'm Vego Gardened out. I love it. Now, do you have to use Vego Garden? You don't, but I will tell you, if you want quality and great customer service and all that, it's unmatched. And also what I would say is, if you're working with finite funds, get what your money can get, but I want you to think about long term, right? So I see many of these beds advertised on Amazon that are like 1 feet off the ground. Look, I can't do that. It's bad enough for me to have to plant in the ground out here, but I know for me, I don't need to invest in a bed that's 1 feet off the ground, because I'm not getting younger, I'm getting older. And the needs are like, sis, stand upright. Get up. Get up. So if you young, you can handle it. But if you're going to spend $99 on a bed that's 1 feet high, then if you can, maybe you can save up another $100 and get you something that is a little bit higher, that's going to be more sturdy, and that's going to last the test of time. That's just my PSA. That's my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth. Again, everybody's situation is different. Do what you can do when you can do it. Okay. But the reason why we're out here is we're going to plant up the rest of these beds. So my husband came down here and amended these beds for me. He added compost to the tops of these. And so we have more potatoes and more onions to plant. So that's what we're going to do next. We planted potatoes last week or the week before. You guys saw that video. I will pop it up here in case you missed it. In that video, I did not just plant potatoes. I talked about the 5 common mistakes when planting potatoes, and I gave you tips on how to ensure you have a good potato harvest. So I'm not going to go through all the details. We're just going to get down to business, and we're going to plant in these beds. So I think we're going to start with this one here, and I think we're going to put onions in here. Let's see if we can get rid of the rest of our onions in here. Or let me see how many onions I have. Okay. I got more onions than I thought. Let's start with the potatoes. So these are the potatoes that we have left. Let's get to business. We have our potato fertilizer that we're going to use. And we're going to start with this bigger bed right here. Let me get my gloves on. Yes, different color gloves because the other ones got wet. I didn't want to put them in my pocket. I hosed them down because they had stuff on them. And I was like, I'll just grab another pair, which is why I get these gloves from Dollar Tree. I love them. So they're cheap, but they're functional and they work.
So the potatoes I'm planting are from Wood Prairie Farm. I've used them for the last 3 years and have had no issues. They are a great supplier of organic seed potatoes, which is what I recommend you grow if you can. And so I'm doing 3 different type of potato varieties this year, and I'm doing more potatoes than I ever have. So normally I've done like a pound or 2 of potatoes, and of course that doesn't even hit the mark. It's not nearly enough. And so this year I ordered, I think 5.5 pounds, or did I order 8.5 pounds? I think I did 8.5 pounds. And so I'm doing Yukon Gold, a red variety called Red Port, and I'm doing russets. So in the previous video that I mentioned that I linked a few minutes ago, in that video we planted a whole bed of potatoes in the high tunnel, and so I'll walk you through kind of how to do that and my best tips and some common mistakes when planting potatoes. When you're thinking about growing food, and especially if you're on a limited space, you want to find things that are nutrient dense and that you can do a lot of things with. So when it comes to potatoes, you can do potatoes in raised beds like I'm doing here. You can also do them in grow bags. I have seen people do them, of course, in the ground. I've seen them do them in trash cans, in crates, because you just need, again, soil, some fertilizer, and the potatoes will grow. Now, they do need to be spaced at least, 12 inches apart is ideal. 12 to 18 so that they have room to grow. But you can do potatoes in many different ways. And the thing with potatoes, they're versatile, right? So it's a nutrient dense crop. It's going to multiply, meaning you put 1 potato in the ground, you're going to get probably 3 or 4 potatoes from one of these pieces of potatoes. But you can do potatoes that are mashed. You can do them. You can even like freeze dry and have potato flakes and then have instant mashed potatoes. You can do, make them into French fries. You can make them into scallop potatoes. Like, potatoes are just versatile. And so you can use them in a variety of ways, fresh, as well as use them in frozen applications like making shredded hash browns or things like that. So again, I have a lot of space, so I'm able to grow many different things. But if I had limited space, I would focus on crops that I'm going to get the most bang for my buck, that have a shorter maturity, and that I can use in many different ways. And so I think potatoes are a great crop if that fits the bill for you. So I get all these potatoes in here. Again, I spaced them about 12 to 18 inches apart. We were able to get 2 rows. And so this bed is 2 by, I think I told you 8. And so they're about 12 inches in between the rows as well. But I put the fertilizer down, put the potatoes in there, and I just make sure that it's completely covered up with the soil and the compost.
Okay, so we got both beds planted. We have this many potatoes left, so probably about 15 to 20, somewhere along in there. So I gotta find a place for these to go. I do not want these to go to waste. So we may do another bed in there. But for now, while we're out here, I saved the best for almost last, which is to plant this bed, because already my back was hurting trying to bend down and plant that stuff. So we're gonna plant the onions. Like I said, my husband has put compost in it. I need to come back in and put some nitrogen in this bed. He did it for me before he left. So we are gonna get these onions planted in here. I should be able to do 3 rows, and hopefully they'll get rid of most of our onions. So let's just get to it.
So for the onions, I was able to get 3 rows. With onions, you only have to place them 6 inches apart. So that works out really, really well. You can get more, obviously, in a space. I get all the onions in there, and then I just started to water everything from the beginning all the way down to the end, and just watering every space. The stuff that's already planted, as well as the stuff that I did plant. As you can see now, it's probably about an hour before the sun is about to set. And so the temperatures have cooled off, and it's not cool at all. It's very pleasant on this day, but the sun is kind of receding back. And y'all, when I tell you, I was just zenning out, just in my element. It was so good to spend time in the garden in beautiful weather at the end of a day where I had been working. It was just a nice retreat. I was at home alone, and not that that mattered when I was in the garden, but I was at home alone, but I was just able, nobody needed me for anything. And so I was able to spend a good 2.5 hours on this particular day, and it did my soul so good. And the fact that I was able to complete a task that has been on my to-do list. Y'all, my to-do list is long, as I'm sure yours is. And a lot of times, most times, I don't have 2.5 hours to spend in the garden at one time. My time is very broken up. And so it may be 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there. And again, I do the best with what I have. And I feel like I'm able to accomplish a lot. But when I have a block of time and the weather is nice and I'm feeling good and I'm getting it done, y'all, there's nothing better.
Okay, guys, so we got all 3 beds planted, 2 beds of potatoes, and then a bed of onions. I still have onions and potatoes left. So now we're gonna go in the hot tunnel. Let me show you how things are looking here. But I got all of this done, which is fantastic. So let's go in the hot tunnel. Let me show you how things are looking in there, and let's find a space to put more potatoes and onions. Okay, so we have this many onions left, and I showed you the potatoes that we have left. So all the beds out here, my husband again put compost in the beds and cleaned the beds up. So let me show you what it's looking like. So this first bed here, he cleaned it up and got out everything that was a weed or that wasn't growing, and put new compost in the bed. This bed still has not been amended with nutrients, so to speak, except the compost. I will do that later, but he was doing it for me again before he left, just to get these beds ready for me. So it's still pretty in here. It looks so good when you clean it up and add the compost. So we have chives, we have parsley, we got some kale, some thyme, spinach is growing nicely, more kale back there, rosemary, and snapdragons. So we got some spaces here that we can put some stuff in. This is the bed of potatoes that we planted last week. They have not sprouted yet. This is the bed where we planted our carrots and our sweet peas. You can see the sweet peas have come up. My carrots have not germinated, and I missed some days of watering, and that's probably why. So I got one little lone carrot there. I'm gonna give it another week or so. I didn't miss 2 days consecutive, but I missed 2 days, and carrots are real finicky. So if they don't come up, this bed will just be planted with something else. I'm not gonna even worry about it because I don't have any more of the carrot seeds I like, so I won't worry about it. That's the snapdragon back there. He forgot to take that out. So yeah, that bed has carrots if they come up, but we got 1, 2, 3, 6 little sweet peas. Not sweet peas, y'all. The snow peas, or the y'all, what do we plant? You know what I'm talking about. The peas that I said I'm gonna be going through the meadows. That's those. Okay, and then this bed here, you guys have saw this. It is looking so good. Look at this lettuce. And then we have some cilantro growing, calendula, spinach, more lettuce. So this bed is looking quite nice. Then this bed here, he cleaned it up as well. And so what's left is spinach and lettuce. And then look, y'all, a calendula bloom. These are calendulas from from the fall. They're coming back, which is great. And so this is what we have left: oregano, some spinach, lettuce, one little cabbage there, a kale, a dino kale, that's snapdragon, that's about to bloom shortly, and then we had some pretty kale there. So I think I'm gonna put the potatoes in this bed here. This is the one that's the most empty, and I know that it can grow with spinach, and cabbage is a good companion. So this is the bed that it's going to be in. You will plant them along that edge or down the middle.
So I first started in the center of the bed to plant the potatoes because I wanted to leave the rim or the edges to put flowers or herbs if I had that opportunity. I like to usually put flowers in the corners of each of my raised beds, and then along the edge I usually try to do like a low line crop like herbs or flowers, and that way I can make sure that one is aesthetically pleasing, which is what I like, but then more importantly, I do companion planting. So companion planting in each of my spaces in my raised beds, I try to have herbs, vegetables, and flowers all growing together, which helps out a lot with pest repellent and just overall health of the soil. I can talk more about companion planting. I have a guide coming out about companion planting, how to do it, and things that go well together. That's a little bit more comprehensive. So if you're interested in something like that, then just say something in the comments and let me know if that's something, a resource that you guys may want. It's something that I'm working on, but would love to know if that's even a resource that you guys would want to purchase. It'll be like a digital ebook for like $10 probably. It's what I'm thinking. But anywho, I get the potatoes planted. I start with down in the center, but I end up having to add in some more potatoes in another row just because I have more potatoes left and I just don't want to waste any potatoes. But instead of going to the edge where I am right now, I end up planting them on the opposite edge in between that space of the spinach and the snapdragon. I was able to put some more over there to kind of round it out and complete. So the long edge that has nothing completely in it, I was able to leave open.
Okay, I got the potatoes planted, all of them. I even planted out some more onions in one of the beds, like along the perimeter. This is how many onions I have left. I think I'm going to take these to my church and give them away for somebody who wants to plant onions because I'm done planting onions. I'm going to water everything in. Let's do that now.
So as you can see, as we did a little bit of a garden tour in both spaces, there's not nearly as much as it will be, the summer or when we're actively doing our fall and winter garden, because we're in the transition period. And that's usually what March gardens are looking like, especially for those of us that grow year round. March is a time of spring planting a few things. But for me, because I plant and grow food in the fall and winter, a lot of my fall and winter crops are my spring crops. So there's really not anything new that I haven't already done. So what I have in terms of spring crops are my spinach, my kale, my collards, but all of that stuff has been in my bed since like September or October. I've harvested all of the rest of the fall and winter stuff that a lot of people now are planting for spring, which is cabbage, broccoli, and Brussels sprouts. But before you know it, this place will be full yet again.
Okay, guys, we have had a productive day in the garden today. I feel so good because I got some things checked off of my list. The potatoes and the onions were weighing on me because I like to plant them all at the same time. But life just doesn't work that way sometimes. Sometimes you have to only do what you can in a 30-minute time span. Then you have to come back 2 weeks later and plant some more. But all of the onions and all those potatoes are planted. And we're still in the month of March. So check, we're doing good. And what else did we get done? We were able to plant some stuff in our Greenstalk. I showed you my new stuff, which is also nice and fun. We watered everything. Everything is looking good. So basically, every bed on the property that's a raised bed has been kind of switched over in terms of either it still has spring stuff in it, but everything has new compost and all of that. Most of the beds have been amended, but some of them have not. I am still late on my, not late because I said in the month of March. It's still March. I haven't done my soil test, but it's coming in the next few days. I'm going to get it done. So therefore, that's why I have not amended in terms of nutrients, but I've added compost to the bed, which will suffice while I'm planting, and then I can come behind it with nutrients. It's only going to be like a week time span, so that's good. So yeah, things are looking, okay. We still have plenty of collards back there and kale. Plenty. I'm gonna harvest some, but I'll cut the video off here. You guys have seen me harvest collard greens, but this will be the last harvest of the collard greens, and I'm gonna get my husband to pull them up because they're already bolting. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna harvest some, cook them, and make sure that they still taste okay. And then if so, I'll come back and get the rest of them and then let him pull those out. Because y'all, in about 2 or 3 weeks, we'll start planting the greenhouse. The greenhouse we plant earlier just because it's protected culture and it's not outside. So even if the temperatures drop one more time, they'll be okay in the greenhouse. And so I'm not gonna be worried about that. But thank you guys so much for joining me in the garden today. I hope that your gardens are growing well. I hope that you're getting excited about the summer gardening season. I hope that you're already planting some spring stuff out. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button and follow along, because Monday, y'all, in Monday's video, I'm going to talk about the giveaway that we're going to be doing. So thank you guys so much for being here. I cannot wait to see you in the next video. Remember, gardening is a journey, but I love it when we do it together. I'll see you next time, friend.